It's the final round of the World Junior Girls 2024. Divya Deshmukh is playing against Beloslava Krasteva. And Divya has played the English opening, and Beloslava has gone for a very rare opening line. It's kind of a Dutch setup with the pawn on f5, and she now castles. Black kind of is in a must-win situation here in the final round if she wants to fight for the medals, and that's why her opening choice is quite understandable. She wants to imbalance the play. She goes d6, and now if she gets a chance, she may want to push her pawn to e5. Divya doesn't care, she just castles it out. e5 seems like a very logical move to play now, but Krasteva takes on c3. And I think Divya will take with the queen, because the queen on c2 has been played for that reason. So queen takes c3. Now white has the bishop pair. Black goes knight bd7, just developing here. And Divya now has to decide about her c1 bishop. She goes pawn to d4. So she takes space, and now the game has been converted into some kind of a d4 opening. White seems to be slightly better here. And now bishop g5. Now this is a very interesting move by Divya, because I would imagine that you would play a move like b4, bishop b2, get your bishop out from there. But Divya plays a bishop to g5. Krasteva challenges the bishop, and Divya is like, okay, take my bishop pair. Doesn't matter, I don't need it. Also, she's thinking from maybe this perspective that a draw is enough for her for the title. Although, if Mariam Makarchian on the next board wins, then Divya and her would land up on the same number of points. c5 played. Very interesting move here. Rook e8 by Krasteva. By the way, if you would take here, here's a very interesting line. You can even sack a pawn and just play for domination in the center. But anyway, let's quickly come back to the game. So rook e8 was played. Divya trades and brings her rook to the c file. Now she's controlling the c file. She has a nice structure here, pieces developed, so it does look like white is slightly better. Now Divya brings her knight back to d2. She is controlling the e4 square. Rook comes to c8, attacking the queen. There are a few weaknesses in black's camp. Firstly, the b7 pawn. Secondly, the d6 pawn. Divya goes and attacks both of them with the queen on b4. Now d6 and b7 are both under attack, and Krasteva plays bishop c6. That's a good move here, because trading the bishops makes a lot of sense. Divya takes it. She takes on c6. And d takes c6. I really like the way in which Divya is playing this game. She is keeping the pressure up, now putting pressure on the a7 pawn and d6. At the same time, she's not risking it to that extent that she would land up in a difficult position. So queen goes to d7. The knight can now go to c4 and attack the d6 pawn. Is that what she's going to do? Yes. And you can't push this pawn. That would be a terrible move, because the knight would jump into the center. So rook d8 is played, defending the d6 pawn. And wonderful move here by Divya. Rook c2. She wants to double down the c file. It's amazing how Divya is playing this technical position so well, because she is known for her aggressive play, not so much for her technical play. And b4 played, just clamping down on the c6 pawn. It's a weakness. The knight moves to the center of the board. Now with the f5 pawn, e4 is not possible, so the knight is well located on d5. Knight goes to a5, putting pressure on the c6 pawn. She goes rook to c7, and now the rook is doubled, so we have 3 attackers on the c6 pawn. It needs 3 defenders, so the rook comes to c8. White is right now quite in the driver's seat. Divya goes and attacks it for the 4th time with her queen. By the way, she has 15 minutes on the clock. We are move number 24. So to make 16 odd moves, she has 15 minutes, while Krasteva has 25 minutes. Queen to b3, and the king simply moves away to h8. And now a calm move, a3. I like Divya's patient play in this game. She has been in a must-win situation. Well, it's not must-win because a draw might also give her the first place on book holes, but she is just playing it calmly. She's waiting for her opponent to go wrong. Queen d3 and queen goes to e8. And now Divya moves in with her queen to a6. The queen, knight and the two rooks once again attacking the c6 pawn. The knight comes back to b6. How should white make progress here? Knight to c4 attacking the d6 pawn and also the knight. So Divya is happy to trade the knights. Knight takes knight. And with this, she will now have a very, very good position, because with no knights on the board, the rooks do not have the open file for black and they are very, very passive. Queen d7 just waiting in there, defending against the c6 pawn. Rook comes back to c3. A new way to put pressure has to be found here. e5. Well, Krasteva is the one who finds it for Divya. She's like, I would need to do something active because she also wants to win, and this gives Divya her chance. So firstly pawn takes pawn, as she has to take back. Pawn takes pawn, and now the c6 pawn is weak and isolated. The square in front of it on c5 is very strong for a piece, so the rook settles in, attacking the c6 pawn and also the e5 pawn. Pawn to e4. Black is trying to create some play at the very least, but queen c4. And now look at how Divya has built this 3 pieces. She wants to go b5 and win material. Rook goes to d8. And Divya calmly improves the position of her king to g2. Finally, e3 is played. And here Divya could just play f3 or f4, but instead she goes ahead and takes the pawn. Queen comes into d2. Here king f2 and white is completely the driver's seat, but instead she takes on f5, giving black a little bit of counterplay. After queen takes f5, rook takes f5. Now queen takes e3 has been played. So black has recovered one of the pawns, still being a pawn down here. Rook f3. I like how Divya is calmly bringing the rook back and putting pressure. Now queen comes back to e5. The e2 pawn is definitely weak, but at the same time black's back rank is also weak. Rook f1. She goes rook c8, trying to stop the rook f8 check in the position. And now Divya has to find a new way to make progress, because for now black has stopped all checks in the position. Rook 1 f2, just a calm move, improving the position in a way so that the queen can start moving in. And she goes rook to e8. So Beloslava is putting pressure here, but now Divya's pieces are coming in. Rook to f7 and rook c7, offering a trade of the rooks. Will Divya accept it? No, she doesn't. She gives a check. And rook takes rook. Rook takes rook. Check with the queen coming in. This looks like a close to decisive advantage here. King h7. And now in Divya goes queen d3. Check. g6 is played. Now how do you launch this attack? I like how she's playing. She goes rook d8. and she wants to trade the rooks with rook d7 check. The queen is trying to now start checking here. First queen e6. And Divya brings a rook to d6. This is a beautifully placed rook looking at the c6 pawn as well as the g6 pawn. The queen goes back to e8 and king f2. Well, the rook comes to g7. In a way, black is hanging on here, and Divya is now running with her king perhaps from g2 to take it to the queen side because it would be much safer there. Instead, queen c8 is played. And Divya now plays h4. She has 12 minutes for the remaining game. And now Beloslava goes queen h3 on the adjoining board. Mariam Makarchian is in a better position against Rakshita, which means that Divya needs to push a bit here if she doesn't want to leave it up to fate. You can see how black is trying to get a bit active. Divya has it all under control. She offers a trade of rooks. And queen comes to a1. Divya plays h5. So you can see that black pieces are a bit tied up, and with h5 you're trying to open it up. Queen b2 check. King comes to e1. And she gives another check. But this time the king now makes his way to the other side. Just like he went to d2, now he's coming back to the g2 square. There's a check. Have to be careful that there are no sudden checks here. But Divya seems to have calculated this like a pro. Takes, rook takes, queen takes d7 check. The king has to move. Goes king g8. And now queen e8 check. The king moves. Queen takes g6. And Divya has won. Her opponent resigns. She is the world junior champion in girls with a score of 10 out of 11. And what a smooth win this was. She didn't try too hard. She just played the good moves and let the result take care of itself. A fantastic one by Divya, becoming the 4th ever player, and her opponent congratulates her, 4th ever Indian girl to win the World Juniors Girls title after Humpy, Harika and Soumya Swaminathan. She also reaches a rating of 2464 and is now currently world number 20. Fantastic achievement by the youngster.